engines roar. Let's go. Cars hitting that track, helmet strapped tight, and a man up front setting the show. AK on the rail, BJ in the mix, Bobby Joe going low, pushing for that spot. Monkey Man dives in, Viper holds lane, Lover Boy keeps the pace, Flash making the moves. Rusty keeps rolling, pilots on call, race control watching, keeping us all in line. Grip that wheel, hold your line, hear the crowd, feel the climb. Every lap we come alive, one more turn, we thrive. Heart to heart, we run this track. Heart to heart, no looking back. Turn by turn, we stay in sync. Heart to heart, we hit that bank. Heart to heart, we move as one. Heart to heart, till the race is done. Speed zone flash on the screen. Heart to heart, living the dream. Woo! Living the dream. Checker flag dreams under our name. Late break action, nobody gives. Potters on the radio, keep it clean. We hug that curve, sharp and mean. Dan the man laughs, take it wide. AK and BJ side by side. Bobby Joe cuts and Monkey Man moves high. Viper stays cool, Lover Boy sets the lines. Flash brings heat, Rusty brings grit. Speed zone cameras catch every hit. Grip that wheel, hold your line. Hear the crowd, feel the climb. Every lap we come alive. One more turn, we thrive. Heart to heart, we run this track. Heart to heart, no looking back. Turn by turn, we stay in sync. Heart to heart, we hit that gas. Heart to heart, we move as one. Heart to heart, till the race is done. Speed zone it till the end on the screen. Living the dream. When the night gets loud and the tires scream, we don't break apart, we chase the dream. Left to right, we hold the gas. Name by name, we race the line. Heart to heart. Heart to heart. Heart to heart. Heart to heart. Heart to heart, we run this track. Heart to heart, no looking back. Turn by turn, we stay in sync. Heart to heart, we hit that gas. Heart to heart, we move as one. Heart to heart, till the race is done. Speed down on the screen, engines roar. Living the dream.
Finding a local, experienced custom home builder and remodeling contractor is a challenge. Since March of 1993, with a commitment to change and improve the quality of workmanship in this trade, Andrew Lohmeyer has strived to build his company to be the best in Maryland and build not just customer contacts, but friendships. ALC Contractors is an award-winning custom home builder serving clients of Central Maryland. A custom home builder that works with you every step of the way, from the design process to the completed project. If you'd like to see examples of our custom homes up close, just ask and we can give you some references. Contact us today to learn more about our custom homes, green homes, home additions, garages, home theaters, and kitchen remodeling projects. We can turn your dreams into reality. Call us at 410-356-7300 for your free home additions remodeling quote. ALC Contractors.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and children of all ages, we have now arrived here down in Watkins Glen here in the New York State. And tonight, we are going to be bringing you the Heart to Heart Motorsports IROC Series down at Watkins Glen here for another hard day's racing, and honestly could open the field up to a whole new points lineup coming out for the championship. Hi everyone, welcome back here to Speed Zone TV. My name is Christian Schreiber, the dead man with a hot mic in hand, and I am bringing you tonight the action in the showcase here to the speed as we get ready to bring it on down. It's time to take a look at your Buchanan Resort grading starting lineup here at Watkins Glen. I'll start them on the pole. In the number 11, Lane Powell, coming off a race win last time out here, looking now to accomplish more, but his outside is the guy that they're all hunting down still in the championship run, the Austin Cornpost, and the 95. Row number 2, the 03 will be Scott Casanay, the outside. The number 12, that's going to be Dan Collison. Row number 3, and the number 15, it's Vincent Shore, the outside. That 33, Jonathan Campbell. Row 4, and the number 8, that's Ronald Robertson, the outside. 31, Andrew Lohmeyer. Row number 5, and the 02, Bobby Lane Jr. on the outside, and the 5, Rusty Robinson. Row number 6, the 00, BJ Lane third, the outside. In the 2 is William Martin. Row number 7 is the 20 of Benny Jones, the outside. In that number 50, that will be Ryan Perot. Row number 8 is going to be seated down here with Steve Harrison in the 13, the outside. That 6th is William Yoakum. And on that final start today, driver the number 71 is Lucas Wright. Field now engaged to impress and engaged to race. 40 laps of the distance. And a who's who of drivers right now just preparing for what lies ahead. I can only imagine really just being in this spotlight here and being in this position, what these drivers must be feeling. And to get a good glimpse of it, let's take a look at our track layout today. Again, you're going to be looking for multiple drivers here, trying to pinpoint and hit complete accuracy around the track. This place is no easy task. Winning here is not for the faint of heart, as it is easy to get. Many drivers have come and gone around this part. Some have even been taken away from us from this track here. This place is an absolute unit of a speedway, and it does not hold back. Watch for the drivers to try to muscle everything down throughout and to try and hold on in this race. Joining us here tonight, race fans, is Joshua R6Q, as well as H. Blanken, Heart to Heart Streams, Bug Bandit, Pest Control, Noah's Toes, as well as Megs28. Thank you all so much for joining us here tonight. We hope you enjoy this one, as we are now set to go 40 laps of the distance. The field now is set to race. The IROC cars are now in place and ready to fight it out amongst themselves. Who will be the one to claim victory in Watkins Glen? We're about to find out as we bring them down across the lane onto the front straightaway here. This time by, it's time to go to the green, and it's on its way. Lane Powell take the early advantage as Austin Cornpost goes way wide, deep down in the turn here, sling their way in. All drivers coming out of it clear for the most part. Now they'll need to navigate themselves through the S-turn. The slippery snakish turn will make drivers really bitch and beg that they were on a straightaway. That uphill climb and that uphill steep ends will definitely swing some of them in the wrong direction Now for the bus stop. Lane Powell deep into the bus stop. Corner post cutting through the turns. That's going to be a penalty down there. Cutting through the track. Penalty on the 95. That'll be a slowdown penalty. He will need to engage on the brakes and get that thing slowed down just enough before the black flag is out on him. Dan Colson on the 12 going to take full control of that, take advantage of that little hiccup from him. Vincent Short now right up on the left side. Just trying to look for a runoff on the 95 as they dig deep into the corner, coming through off turn number 11, heading for 12. And again, these angles and these corners here, they're going to really be pushing some drivers to their limits here and making a few of them wish that they had not tried to take on a road course as tough as this one. These are heavy-duty machines, pretty much having to figure out how to drive like a Corvette or a Lamborghini down here. It is not as easy as it looks. Short again driving up a little bit wide, same way that Cornpost did earlier. This seems to not have affected him as bad. Cornpost was going to the inside trying to make that pass, but going up to that S turn there, that does not quite give you as much of a run as you like here, and it certainly showed there. On board here with Ronald Robertson now, and Ronald Robertson last time out, last couple races honestly, very impressive honestly in his performance and how he's been able to keep up the height, keeping up with his runs. He's honestly, in my opinion, probably the best of our mid-pack guys that gets up to that front pack more often than not. And I think more than anything, you probably got to keep an eye out on him when the going gets tough here. Dan Collison now with company on his back doorstep here as the field just continues to maneuver their way through. Lucas Wright starting in the 12th, in the 17th spot today, has moved all the way into the 12th spot is what I was trying to say. Ryan Ferrone, William Martin, and Steve Harrison, each trying to do their own little thing here, try to have a little good tussle, if you will, around the track. We're going to go on board here with Ferrone. That final 90-degree right-hander through off to turn 12 and down the front straightaway. That turn, I'll tell you this, you'll see a lot of drivers trying to take it tighter, or some they'll just go flat out wide open and end up finding their ways onto the turtles there. As we continue to move through the field here, let's take a look at our lap time data. Lane Powell so far keeping Cazenave at bay. And he has set and you see that little purple down there. Now that's not some special color we put on these numbers. That indicates that that is the fastest time that has been reached around the track so far. Whoa, hold on down there. Cornpost a little bit all over the place, and he's got a problem. Got it too wide off that banking there and ended up finding himself in a very tough rut. Almost lost it completely off of the carousel turn. Seems to be okay for now. Let's take one look at this time zone here. And the gap again continuing to grow. Now again, it is 40 laps to the distance, so that can play a huge factor here. But right at the moment, this is kind of playing more towards, I believe, what Lane Powell wants, which is to keep it nice and clean and green and stay away from trouble where he can here. Jonathan Campbell, the number 33 here, with company on his back doorstep. Ronald Robertson and Bobby Lane Jr. all trying to hunt him down. Gonna get on board here with Campbell, and again, Campbell qualifying in the 6th spot today and still right where he is in the moment. But certainly no squeamish on having to deal with company right behind him. Vincent Short, a little bit of a problem down there. Looked like maybe had a little bit of an issue in the bus stop. Not giving very much room though, and that's what happens when you don't. Oh my! He gets tagged and spun around there by the 33 of Campbell, and I'm not sure if Campbell meant intentionally to do that, but that's still not a position you ever want to find yourself in, race fans. Let's go to the replay here and find out what exactly transpired here that got him into this mess. Short holding down Cornpost for a good bit there. Enters into the bus stop. He drove that way wide in the bus stop. Then had to come back down, cornered it, and then got caught speeding there. So he had to lose time. But notice this right here. He just clips down to the bottom. I don't know from that angle if he did come down in at 33 or if Campbell just basically kind of went and nudged him out of there. But we'll take one more look at it here. We have a chopper cam that we're going to go to. Let's see from this angle. Again, I don't know how to really judge this until we see this angle right here. Let's take a look. I mean, I'm not going to try to be mean and short, but the thing is, he was on the bottom lane. He came down into Campbell. Campbell had really only one option, either hold that line and back off, or, well, option B. And you can probably guess which option he chose. A very tough break there for sure. He'll have to work his way back to the field. They will have to make a pit stop here, as we got a little riding around with Rusty Robinson. And you can see just running over those turtles there, this car gets so out of shape and unstable. Because again, the weight distribution and the weight transfer, you don't have a flat base. You have basically a little bit of a high ground that gets the car to travel upwards and then on around. And the last thing you expect then is for that to basically end up catching you off guard and getting yourself into a no wheel grip situation, or a flat spot, as some people will tell you. Not exactly having that issue right now, and pretty much just been hauling it from start to A to start B, and probably doesn't want to go to the notorious B, is this guy right here, Lane Powell. And I think we're going to go on board with him. We're going to give you a full lap around the track, see why he's being so successful here. All right, let's talk it through it. Come down that front straightaway here, and again, there's the wide open lane. Got the drip, got the run. Here we go. Here comes the heavy braking zone down turn number 1. Gonna get on the gas. Here comes the shift. One shift down, going from 4th to 3rd. Stable, stable, stable. Back into 4th. Now for the S's. Nice and easy. Easy acceleration. Back off when you're getting loose. Back on when you're getting tight. Now back into 4th gear. And up and around we go. Here comes the bus stop. Look for that 600 spot there. You see right there, he was off the gas and on the brake when he saw the 600 point. When you see that timing spot, that's where you want to be to enter and execute the turn. And that's exactly what Lane did. Now to the carousel. Easy, easy peasy. Keep it nice and tight. Down in the squeezy. Don't be sleazy. Now to this elongated end straight for 2 more solid turns. And there you go. Now you know how to defeat Watkins Glen. Speaking of defeating Watkins Glen, problems down there for Benny Jones, as Benny apparently has been defeated by the lane here. Let's take a look at it. We saw him on the corner panel there on the inside. Let's see what happened to Benny Jones. Oh, he just overdrove it. Yeah, he just overdrove it. Looked like he got out of the gas pedal really quickly there. He's trying to get on the brakes and get that thing to square up. And the next thing you know, wee-woo, right into the sand. One more look at it. And again, this is what I was talking about earlier. The weight distribution and how heavy these cars are. You can't under-brake it. You can over-brake it if you want. But if you under-brake it, get going into that kind of turn with that kind of straightaway, well, let's just say you might as well just call it a day. Oh, massive hit into the wall protection down there off turn number 12. And it looks like that's William Martin. That's the number 2, William Martin down there. What might have happened here? I know I keep jumping from the replays here and not on the actual race, but trust me, folks, you're not really missing too much on the actual race. There's no side-by-side stuff yet, so bear with me. Let's take a look at this. William Martin coming right in through the turn. Oh! Oh! That sounded like the whole right front wheel caved in on him and wheel hopped. And that sent him straight into the wall protection. What on earth? Let's go on board with him here and see if we can get a good idea of what the heck happened. Everything looks pretty good here. Oh yeah, right there. Listen to that wheel hop. And there goes the motor right there. That was an extremely violent wheel hop there, and that just pretty much destroyed any run he had there. Oh man, oh man, oh man. And speaking back up to the race lanes now, I said a second ago you weren't missing anything. Well, now you have something to watch. Despite getting swept and spun around, he's pretty much channeling in his inner racing man. Vincent Short now trying to fight back and trying to get some lane grip and on the run here. Looking down on the corner panel there, looking for an opening. You can see him trying to push him, shove his way back in. BJ not giving him an inch here. Look at our comment section. Larry Powell has joined us as well. He says Powell is a road course beast. Bug Bandit Pest Control says go 33. Great to have everybody on the show here today. And right now that 33 at Campbell not doing too bad actually. He's in the top 5 still. Got a great battle going on here down the front straightaway, but BJ Lane surrendering the spot up. He'll give the 7th position to Vincent, or will he? He's going to drive it in deep down into turn 1, looking for that lane. Vincent going to try to crossover. There it is, right down the turn 1. Again, you just can't make mistakes like that against a sharp right-hander, and you're going into that lane. You've got to basically either go into it knowing you're going to get past, or go into it knowing you're going to try and rub the driver as much as you can. Unfortunately, that did not work out in the favor for BJ. The 00 now only 3 spots up, but he is technically tied with being our Hard Charger Award recipient. Ryan Perone right now is currently in the 11th spot and 3 spots up as well. BJ starting in the 11th, ironically. Perone starting at 14th. Jonathan Campbell now just continuing to keep himself clean and green after having a little mismatch, if you will. Let's take a look at our timing sheets here. Again, the red signifies that Collison has got the faster of the times. See what Collison brought on to Campbell and Robertson this time. Green on the bottom. That is gaining ground. And also, you may see up there that light green up there. That is the fastest lap that driver had laid down. So far, their fastest, a 1:14 to 1:13, has been their fastest time as of right now. But it is still early, my friends, and still with a long way to go. William Yoakum right up ahead now, just trying to see if he can get out of the way. He's going to get out of the way as they enter into the bus stop. Will not get in the way for Campbell, but maybe in a way kind of did slow down Robertson. We'll see if he goes to the far left side here. No, he actually will take it down on the inside lane. On the right, a little damage on the 8 there. Now, where the heck did Ronald get that at? Not exactly sure where he got the damage from, but nevertheless, the right rear corner panel is bashed up a bit. Well, since he's pretty much been kind of running this track down the ground, I swear I'm not trying to ignore this guy here, race fans. I just gave him a whole lap around the track. But your race leader, Lane Powell, has just been, well, how do I put it nicely? Just lights out from the word go. Cornpost did have a little bit of speed running out of the gate, but from there, well, it's pretty much been the Lane Powell show. However, there is still a pit stop that is going to need to be made here. Whoa! Lucas Wright, trouble down there. Looks like he came off the carousel turn, had a problem. You saw Lane Powell pass him up right there off the carousel turn. Let's take a look at the replay. I think this might be the second driver so far that's had troubles from the carousel exit. Cornpost, you remember earlier on, just the corner of our eyes there, did catch a problem. Lucas Wright, yep, right there. Looks to me like he just overturned it and didn't over-accelerated instead of basically let it kind of swing out a bit. That could just be my thoughts on it, but that's the way I'm seeing it in this case. Whoa! Now he's doing some drifting. Oh, that's not a good place to drift, though. Back her down, get down there, Lucas. Woo! Now he's just waiting for everyone to get around him here. Again, there's no cautions here for spinners or anything like that. In these road courses, there is only a yellow. There is no full course caution. There is only going to be basically a caution turn. That'll tell you, like, hey, be careful down there. We got someone who spun around. Scott Cazenave here in the 0-3. Pretty much, in my opinion, been kind of the sleeper hit, in my opinion. He qualified third, spinning third so far, and you can see how he's maneuvering right around these drivers. Again, he's trying to give everything he's got here. He doesn't have the full-on power entering through the corners and that corn post has had, or the absolute unit of speed and consistency that Lane Powell is bringing. But he's kind of been like in that middleman spot, which is I can basically get it done when I need to and just kind of stay and toe in the line. Kind of like that, honestly. It kind of gives you a bit of a different sense, a bit of a different sixth sense, if you will. William Yoakum right now just straight up ahead of BJ Lane. Yoakum is a lap down. Gonna go right up on the right side there. BJ getting it right up the corner. Side by side down in that back half. Woo, very wide through that turn there. BJ, got to get it back down, buddy. Get it out of the nasty stuff. And looks like he's going to be one of our first ones into pit road. Very interesting timing here, having to go to pit road this early. Might be something wrong down there for BJ. Lane Powell earlier on had about an 8-second lead, but now has shrunk it down a little bit. Well, never mind. Pretty much was just the corners he was just working around. Well, let's put the old time stamp up. Let's look at the lap times. Now, corn post was gaining a little bit, but again, the problem is that when you're getting tenths on this kind of stuff, you don't like to see that. You need seconds. In road course racing, tenths is one thing, but if you could get seconds back, oh boy. Then start to boost your confidence up a bit, get you feeling pretty good. Cazenave and Corpos going into pit road, so it looks like I was completely wrong on my challenging of the pit road stops here. Looks like they do need to go into pit road every now and then. But I was only in the assumption they had to go to pit road once. It seems that that is not the case. It looks like it may be a few more times than that. Time elapsing and running through onto the track here. Every driver for themselves as we are still inching closer to the halfway point. And really, honestly, the way this race has been going, it seems almost like a lot of these guys have just been kind of more stepping along the lines of take it easy when you can and then go full center when you got a chance. Not a whole lot of them really kind of digging their heels in, digging into the corners and keeping it up close with the race lead. And now you do see that little bit of white specks on the ground there. That is not some kind of little snow flurries or hail that we just saw on the track. That is rocks and gravel that's been thrown around here from the dirt on the grass as well as on the sand pits there. That can as well make a huge difference. And we've talked about it before here on this channel. When you get that kind of stuff on the track, when you're running these kind of races, these kind of situations, it can be an absolute headache when you're having to get through the marbles, get through the gravel, and get through that kind of position because it's less grip and it's less attention to your cornering and your position. It's more or less just trying to avoid that stuff so you don't go slipping and sliding and rocking the boat. 24 laps left to go now here. Ronald Robertson, Jonathan Campbell in a great dogfight for position. Campbell earlier on getting himself into a bit of a mishap there and getting himself into some trouble. Ever since then, pretty much just been lights out from there. Sounds like there might have been a little bit of a problem down there for Steve Harrison. Let's take a look at the replay and see what went wrong. Oh yeah, he definitely got himself into a bit of a bind here. Remember what I said earlier about those marbles? Well, here's why you want to avoid them. But here's also the aftermath of it. Ow! Got the whole front end clipped off on that thing. Oh! And William Martin as well. Oh my goodness. William Martin there getting into that mashup there and got a little bit of the mixed match, the mashup puzzle. And that was certainly not a hit he wanted in this case here. Let's take another look at it from another angle. Right there, you see, just went right into the marbles, into the gravel. And notice that he did not get that thing to turn in like he wanted to. Now, again, he could have been thinking a little bit harder than he probably should have. But the thing is, when you go into those marbles and that gravel there, that thing will absolutely make it much harder on you as a driver to get things cleared up. And it looks like the two might be done for. Well, at this point, someone might want to call Davy Jones's seabed here, because right now we need to pull something from the seabed. You need a monkey. You need to grab the monkey wrench, and throw it at the hood, and grab the anchor and hoist that thing on from the back panel on that 11, because that's the only way you're slowing down power right now. He is just absolutely cooking them over there. Nothing to his name other than just pure speed and pure adrenaline. Get a little onboard action here, heading down to the bus stop with Ronald Robertson. You know, fun fact here, race fans, you know how the bus stop came to be? The reason that we have this bus stop right here is because originally the actual layout and format of this track is that huge straightaway would lead into the sharp swinging hand corner of the carousel. But, and this is where things get a little dark, as much I hate to say this, but in one of the NASCAR Cup Series races, unfortunately, a wheel had blown completely off on the name of J.D. McDuffie, and sadly, that wheel would end up costing him his life as he went down into the turn, not being able to steer or get any braking done. He ended up getting into the wall protection and ended up upside down on his roof, unfortunately losing his life in the process. So if you're ever wondering why they don't go straight or why they have to pick that bus stop, it's a safety precaution as well as a feature that was implemented due to what had happened, unfortunately, to a good driver and a good man in J.D. McDuffie. Speaking of having a little bit of trouble down there, I'm not sure exactly what went wrong down there with DJ Lane, but he's got smoke burrowing out of the back of that thing. We're going to go take a look at the replay and see what happened here. It looks like he might have had a little trip to the outside wall here on turn number 1. Yeah, looks like he overdrove it, got on the brakes, and then blasted. Those tires are unforgiving, my friends. And you can see why. That 00, oh my goodness. He took a nasty one there. Gonna have company on his doorstep here, passing him right along. Believe that was, yeah, that's 02, Bobby Lane Jr. Couldn't quite catch Bobby Joe's number there as he brings the Spa Auto Sales 02 right around with us. Doing everything they can right now to kind of stay in patrol. And again, these two, you'd have thought right now they were racing for the race lead. They have not left each other's corners here. Campbell again just trying to keep Robertson at bay. Robertson probably at this point just trying to find that anchor from Davy Jones that I believe. But here is a look at our top 3 guys here. Now remember, Cornpost had gone into pit road earlier. So the other drivers in the top 4 have not. That could play a huge factor here. As you can see just right now, the fact Cornpost is already catching up as quick as he is. Well, let's just say I wouldn't want to be these guys right now. We're going to go on board here with Cornpost. Looks like Robertson into pit road here. Campbell will stay out. Cornpost going to take over the 4th spot now. See, the best time he's laid down, it was a 1:12.746. Last lap there, 1:13.009. Not bad at all there. And I tell you this, race fans, again, I've raced this track I don't know how many times and how many cars in different series. It doesn't get any easier. It's a track that, like I said, it commands respect as it commands you as the viewer. You just glimpse at the beauty and the absolute struggle that anybody has to face taking this place on and having to race as hard as you do around here. I've only got like 2 or 3 wins on this track, and that just tells you how tough it is. And that's from league races and officials. It is not a track that you mess with. It's very hard to win here. Campbell with prop corner, got a little bit of company on his doorstep. Corn Post looking to slay the beast and take away his lane. He'll have Dan Collison and Lane Powell on his mind when he goes into pit road, hoping he got a fur enough ahead. But now running through traffic and running down for the 3rd spot. The battle for 3rd is on. Corn Post getting around. Whoa! But right in front, Lucas Wright. Oh my! Turn 1 and Lucas Wright not getting along. Oh, he's gonna do it again off the corner. Oh my goodness. Come on, Lucas, get her refired, buddy. Keep her low, though. Keep her low. There you go. Oh, my. He hit the flat spots down there, and unfortunately, it bit him again. Let's take a look at the replay. Spun right in front of the battle between 3rd and 4th here. Let's look at this. Overdrove it. You can see the rear end was already kicking out. Now he's basically in just slider mode, just trying to keep it under control and stabilize it. Got it straightened back out, but then watch, he gets it back in the gas way too hard. There goes the rear, and swing and a miss. Round we go. I gotta believe poor Lucas right now is just begging for the ovals to come back. I think a lot of these guys were not too thrilled at the fact that they had to face off on a road course here, but hey, if you want to be the best in IROC, you gotta learn how to take down the ovals too. So Lane Powell still just absolutely dominating this. Again, I have not given him enough. I haven't really given him all that much attention. So we'll go on another lap on here with him. I'm pretty sure the comment section would have a field day with me if I didn't. So here we go. Let's continue to figure out why he's so fast right now. You can see the time difference too. You saw earlier, Corn Post was laying down 113 flats. Corn Post again is getting a fresh set of run and a fresh set of speed. Lane Powell though, he's right now only at a 113.552 that time. His fastest still faster than everyone else with that 112.768. But again, you can just see how smooth he gets back in the gas and back off the gas. And look at that timed it right there, in between 600 and 500 this time. Last time it was just right as he hit the 600 mark. This time it was in between. So that tells me the tires are worn out enough to where he feels very confident and comfortable to be able to kind of start pushing things around a little bit more and really keep things in his lane. Shifting up real quick, now shifting back down. Got 2 shifts in there. Got to get it squared up. Let the RPMs flow and let the zoomies free. And he'll get it into pit road. So that'll be his pit stop. Now Dan Coulson, he's going to need to go into pit road as well at some point. But Corn Post is egging and getting closer and closer to him. Does he decide to go into pit road now, I wonder? Powell's still in there. We're going to watch carefully at our top 3 for a moment here because Corn Post already been in pit road, has enough fuel to get through this. Now will be the absolute challenge of trying to catch up to the 11 before he gets out. Powell is now in pit road. Does he have enough time? Collison's coming up behind. He's going to try and take the lead away from Lane. And poor BJ Lane just smoking up a joint down there in the pit road side. Collison will get the spot away from Lane Powell. Austin Corn Post coming up quick, but he's still a good grasp away. And Powell now with the fuel reserves in. Corn Post did not catch up to him in time. Ooh, Now he's going to need a hope for Powell to make a mistake here, but your new leader, at least for the moment, is going to be the number 12, Dan Collison. Old Dan the man, Dirty Dan, call him what you will. Right now, he is the leader, Dan. Grima Diamond says Powell got the 6 out, chilling. Heart to heart streams 00, too much damage. We're out. Hard to start. Do appreciate you at least letting us know. Too terrible break there. CJ says, let's go Campbell. And H. Blinken, yes sir, let's go Powell. Great to have everybody on board. Yes, I am still reading your comments as I go along. Lemons Ren says a nice chill race today. Yep. H. Blanket says love these races. Cameron Willis, I'm a fan of the road races. And Noah Toe says I had to walk away. What happened to Powell leading the race? Noah, basically he just went to pit road, but Collison has yet to go to pit road, so keep that in mind. And well, never mind. I jumped back over here for a second. Well, guess where Collison went? So you can probably guess where this guy went. New leader. And Austin Cornpost now taking over the second spot. Jonathan Campbell in the 33 now about to be put a lap down here. Remember earlier on, he was literally battling in that second and third position. Now he was fighting hard there with Ronald Robertson. It looked like his pit stop might have cost him a little bit of time there compared to what he was expecting here. Scott Cazenay right now trying to get ahead there of Collison. Will do so successfully. Collison back out on the track. Cazenay will lead us through here for the third spot. So just like what we had about, what was it, 13 minutes ago, pretty much everything now kind of falling back in the pinpoint range. Drivers starting to spread themselves out a bit, starting to kind of catch the grasp of the track. I was wondering how much of a factor that was going to play in here, and it looks like it was quite a bit. But honestly, it's not too surprising to me because, again, we talked about it here before. The best drivers were going to be those road course ringers, and we're going to be the guys that knew when and where to pick their fights and pick their battles. Yeah, it's literally, if you think about it too, race fans, last 3 weeks have been nothing but just absolute nails in the coffin for a lot of these drivers here. Thinking about where everything went, where everything came from, and now just seeing how quick and fast things can turn on a dime. I mean, at this point right now, it's just kind of turned into just kind of a waiting game, just making sure you kind of can get yourself around traffic, work your way around the speeds here. But at the moment, the 6th position on back is going to be put a lap down the way this is going. Vincent Short up on the back and now through the lap. He is a lap down. That means Ronald Robertson, Dan Collison, Scott Cazenay, and Corpost are all only on the lead lap. This is what I would call, race fans, an old school beatdown. This is a Winston Cup beatdown right now. And speaking of a good little tussle and a fight here, Rusty Robinson and Andrew Lohmeyer catching some tails and catching some whip around. As Dan Collison now looks to try to get around the 31 and keep everything in bay for him. You know, Lohmeyer, again, he's been one of those guys that been very consistent and very stable with his racing abilities. But I think today when he got on this road course, I don't think him or anyone was really expecting this pure dominance and sheer terror that some of these drivers have been on them today. Dan Collison now trying to go to the right side end, trying to cut down on the track side and get ahead of the 31, but doesn't want to pull a Campbell and short earlier. Look at him just take that corner really wide off, nail it down into the grass. That is pure speed from the 12. He did not lift and did not give an inch. He just said swing it right and let it ride. And he absolutely tanked that speed and tanked that corner there. Good driving on the 12, but man, talk about an absolute unit of a beatdown here. He is putting on the boys. Steve Harrison way wide up on the lane. Stay down in there, buddy. Keep it in control. Good job there by Harrison. Did everything he could to be avoiding trouble and avoid any more mistakes. You know, I think honestly, we've hit everyone else today, at least on our cameras here, but I think we haven't really said too much about Ryan Perrone here. And fact is, he's in the 8th spot. He's currently the hard charger as well. But I think, like I said before, it's just, you really look at these drivers and you look at this lineup, and you know how fast these guys are in these IROC cars. And you got a guy like this here, qualifies in 14th, been quiet for most of the day, and next thing you know, he's literally just moments away from getting himself the hard charger award. Kind of telling, honestly. And he's only been lapped down by 2 people, which is Lane Powell and Austin Cornpost. And again, honestly, no shame in that, considering like what this guy's been doing. Lucas Wright backing off down in the lanes, down in the corners here. I don't keep meaning to say Lane. I know it's his first name, but folks, I swear I'm trying to find some new materials here. But every time I keep saying down in the corners, down into the lane, I'm just literally looking at Lane Powell. Well, down the strip here and down the straight, it is Powell right now, taking full center aim, as now he'll shoot down into the sweeping right-hander. There is 9 laps left to go. I'll tell you right now what he's feeling too. He's got to be inside that cockpit just feeling his hands start to get a little bit of a grip tendency. His nerves kind of kicking in. The sweat dripping down. The heart racing a little harder. And then again, maybe he's just ice cold, just not even thinking about it and just treating it like a trip on the practice session. Either way, I can guarantee you one thing. He's got a grip like crazy down there. Looks like some problems down there for Steve Harrison in a 13. Let's take a look at this one. Looks like, yeah, he got himself in a little bit of a mismatch here. He decided to get into a boxing match here with the wall protection. Oh, after he blew the motor up there. Looks like a mischief on the 13. That's easy to do here, folks. Again, you saw he blew the motor right here. He's just trying to get out of the way. Trying to slow it down enough and not get himself into more trouble. The motor's gone, so at this point, he's just hoping that maybe he has a little bit of something to pull it into pit road, but yeah, the way once you hear that motor quit, you might as well just call it, because when you're in that position, there's no way you're getting over there. But to his credit, he stayed far away from everybody and stayed out of the way. And there you see him pull it off there and just kind of, you know, call it from there. And I don't blame him. Let's get back to the live timing here with 8 laps to go. Momentum again, still in the top 5's favor. Ronald Robertson, Dan Colson, Scott Cazenave, Austin Cornpost, as well as Lane Powell, all controlling each side and sectors of the track. Not getting anybody a shot or a chance really to catch them. And it's just been full send all the way through for a lot of these drivers. Great battles earlier on. Guys and gals just absolutely giving it their heart and their soul. Hoping for something here and hoping for some speed and leeway. But they all have been trying to hunt down the number 11 one of the Toyota drivers here. Got a good couple of them as well. Only 1 or 2 Fords in this field. All the rest, Toyotas or Chevys. You got to give a hand to those Toyotas, man. Them things are bad fast on road courses. They have nothing left to really worry about except for nailing those things down. And speaking of that, Corey Heim even proved it because he just got his first NASCAR Cup Series win driving, what else? A Toyota. So, Heart to Heart Stream says road course race still knew a lot of the drivers, so here is pretty good if you ask me. Yeah, honestly, it's pretty solid. I loved every minute of it. It had good battles, good racing. Again, there's nothing wrong with having a beatdown from the leader. To me, the biggest thing is just how does everyone else in the mid-pack and on back fare to get to the top stack. Even H. Blanket says, nah, awesome racing pal, just a road racing beast like Larry said. And yes, race fans as well as Heart to Heart Streams had mentioned, next week we are in Kentucky, a track we have not seen in a while here on the show. So it'd be great to see old Kentucky come back here. I'm going to go down there and I might go steal some Kentucky bluegrass and, you know, bring it down here to my Iowa landscape home. I don't know. I'll have to see about that. I guess even Heart to Heart's going to give old pal the SPG of Heart to Heart. Can't say that I blame him. Looks like a little bit of trouble down there for Bobby Lane Jr. Something went wrong, it looks like, on the 0-2. As I was working over some things here from our chat here, let's go and take a look at the replay. I don't know exactly what happened to the 0-2, but we'll take a look and see if we can get a good glimpse of this here. Looks like, yeah, looks like coming off turn 11. And looks like he didn't get into the brakes quick enough. And then pretty much overbraked it and slipped her around. Cazenave doing a great job getting out of the way. And look at Bobby Joe. Good driving from the 0-2 there. Saw the situation, knew he needed to get out of that quickly. Just instead of putting it a little bit in reverse and then going forward, he pulls full back, gets out of the racing lane, and gets back into the groove. Good work from Bobby Joe. Clean as can be and solid as can do. 5 laps left to go, and I guess now, we're going to call him the SPG of Heart to Heart. Lane Powell tearing these drivers a new one and delivering the Winston Cup beatdown right now. And again, no shame in that at all. Again, there's times those road course ringers, they show out. They come in full force. It's just how it works and how it is part of the game sometimes. He's looking to finish this one strong. They're looking to finish this on a very high note here. Kind of try to focus in on some other drivers as we go through the final edges of this race. Again, I'm trying to do my best here to give you guys something other than just a single car to look at here. But again, everyone spreads out very quickly here in these road course races. That is kind of one of the biggest things you got to kind of worry about. You got so much action that kind of pertains and runs around the track, but once things start to shift around and get a little bit further into the ground, well, that's what you end up leaving with. Rusty Robinson here, going to be in the way for Lane Powell. With now looking to try to get only 3 more laps need to be completed. Brian7417 says, what does SVG mean? Oh, Brian, the SVG is just a short acronym for Shane Van Gisbergen. If you don't know him, I'll just give you the quickest rundown of rundowns, although most of the comments have already kind of said who he is. He is a NASCAR driver, but he is also one of the very, very few people in NASCAR that has ever won on his first Cup Series start. And ironically, of all things, he did it in a Project 91 car back about 3 years ago, was it? Or now was it 4? I mean, time's going by so quickly, it's crazy. But he did it at the Chicago Street Course. Came in on his first race ever and absolutely put it to the Cup Series drivers and champions, mind you. And even though a slip of the tongue from Joey Logano called him the Hamburgen, or whatever he called him, Shane Van Gisbergen, in my opinion, has absolutely proven that he will take whatever he can on the road courses, and he is starting to figure out ovals too. So, as a name, you're going to need to watch out for down the road, in my opinion. We're going to focus our final 2 laps here on the number 11, Elaine Powell. Powell absolutely just taking this one in stride. Left nothing on the table, left nothing out there for them to try to make a mismatch of or trying to take away from him. Just pure, unalterated racing dominance here in Watkins Glen today. And frankly, if you ask me, I don't think he would have wanted it any other way. Just needs to get this one dialed in and one more set on around. Pulling him around. Here we go, race fans. It is now time for your Buchanan Resort White Flag Lap. Presented in part by our friends as well at Allen Tillery Chevrolet Buick GMC and ALC Contractors and Spa Auto Sales as well. This one has just been an absolute, I don't even want to say it, but I'm just going to say it anyway, a butt whooping down on the track. But I got to wonder if some of these drivers will have a little bit of resistance. And Kentucky, knowing what this 11 did, he is currently close in the fight and on the hunt to get to the championship spots. Title is still up for grabs with a couple races left. Kentucky will be where these drivers will go mono again in their own usual format. Tonight here in the IROC series, though, these heart-to-heart boys, they gave it everything they had and did everything they possibly could. But in reality tonight, there is no doubt in my mind who absolutely deserves to take this one home as he comes off turn 11, heading for the final corner off turn number 12. Tip the hat and give the nod. The number 11, Elaine Powell, is going to victory lane here in Watkins Glen. And another week avoiding that dastardly basement. And I think he'll probably be happy to stay out of this one in this case. He's going to celebrate early. He doesn't even care. He doesn't want to go another lap around. He just wants to celebrate. I don't blame him. That 40 laps is, even just doing 10 or 20 around this place is brutal on the arms. I can only imagine what he is feeling right now. Oh, and even old Austin Cornpost, he's down there. I think he's trying to send a little message to old Lane. Says, you may have done good here, but I'm still in that points hut too, my friend. Ooh, I love the tension. I love the excitement kind of burrowing down here. Still got the rest of the drivers need to finish up. Corn Post, Cazanet going to get their final spots in. As Dan Colson now coming across down the lane as well. Cazanet will go third. Colson's going to go fourth. And then running down on the lap traffic side of here, Ronald Robertson going to be in the fifth spot to finish it out. I can't pull up race results just yet here, folks. I got to wait for the rest of the field to come to the line before I can pop that up here. All I can say, though, again, is just what a performance and a great drive and a half here by these drivers and by everyone else. Nobody left anything on the table, and nobody gave an inch here on the circuit. Now we can finally get it up and running. Here is your Spa Auto Sales race results here tonight. Lane Powell, just pure dominance. And after 3 straight weeks, pretty much has been the man. With confidence got to be just absolutely blooming and illuminating right off of him right now. Austin Cornpost, again, will continue to hang on to his race leads and his position the points here with a good solid second place and a great battle off there. Scott Cazanet, though, the surprise hit and sleeper, in my opinion, no one's talked about enough, and I did not get enough credit there. He got a good third place position, hanging on and fighting everybody off when he had to and really working that pit strategy in. Just didn't quite work out to keep Lane at bay. Dan Colson here doing a great job as well and keeping himself under control. Ronald Robertson had a great tussle and hustle with Campbell earlier on. Vincent Short coming away in 6th. Seventh going to go to that 33 I just mentioned of Jonathan Campbell. Ryan Perone going to go in the 8th spot. 9th going to go to Bobby Lane Jr. And 10th finishes out with Andrew Lohmeyer. Rest of your finishers on your screen. And now, race fans, it is probably the thing you guys have been waiting a long time here for today. Time to chat with our top 3 drivers here tonight. Let's start off, of course, with the race winner here, the one that delivered the butt whooping down there. The 11 of Lane Powell joining me here now. And Lane, man, all day long, you just pretty much went from here to there, from point A to point B, and just never looked back. It looked like you were just only staying focused on that front of that windshield. Was that pretty much kind of the game plan throughout tonight?
Yeah, I kind of got my few-second lead on the first couple laps and got pretty comfortable. And once I found a rhythm with the car, I kind of just set in it and let the car do the rest. And man, the main thing tonight, this track's just keeping it from getting squirrely and not running into the wall, and that's what I managed to do. So that's where we're at now.
That's what you managed to do. That's what you managed to keep under control here. Qualifying first here and qualifying in a good position. Last 3 weeks here, I know obviously the situation Talladega wasn't what you wanted to play out, but still you were very dominant there, very strong in performance. Last time out, absolutely cooking it down in Indy, and now today here, Watkins Glen. I got to believe, honestly, that you're just now riding this wave of confidence here as time is running out for that points championship.
Hey man, I'll take what I can get. The next 4 laps or 4 tracks we got coming up are ones that I've never raced before, so the guys are going to give me a run for my money. I got to get my practice in. Shout out to the fellas for hosting the practices this week. I got a handful of hours practice in at the Glen this week, so that helped out a lot. And we only have 1 road course on the schedule, and that's what my bread and butter is. So I'm glad I could take this one home.
Well, as the comment section has been calling you the SVG of this, and comment section, I also would like to remind you he is not going to the basement anytime soon.
Hey,
Lane, who are we thinking tonight, buddy?
I want to shout out to all my friends and family watching. All my buddies in the chat, shouting me out, and my dad watching, everybody like that. So, I'm glad I could put on a show, and thanks for watching.
Absolutely. Lane, thanks so much for coming on by tonight. Congratulations, just taking it off control tonight here from Watkins Glen.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, again, Lane Powell, your race winner here today in Watkins Glen. Time chat now here with the second place finisher here. Going to take the bridesmaid home for this one, Austin Cornpost. And Cornpost, definitely nothing to sneeze at here, my friend. You absolutely gave it what you had. And earlier on, you ran into some trouble. And the next thing you know, you're pretty much fighting and scourging back to get into the second spot and only finishing 16 seconds back. Honestly, pretty impressive in my opinion.
Yeah, I got the rear tires hot at the beginning, and I think I was going into the carousel or something, and it just snapped loose on me. And then I got a off the track penalty, so I kind of had to slow up, let Vince and Dan pass me. But Yeah, made it back up to second. Hats off to Lane. We found our SVG of the league for sure.
For sure there. Now, Austin, I'll ask you this as well. I know obviously early in the season you jumped off to a hot start, kept the confidence going. I know you're still being consistent and staying in that points range, but Lane Powell is starting to build up quite a bit of run, quite a bit of confidence himself now with coming in the later half. Do you think you'll be able to kind of keep everything under control and keep him at bay here coming to the end of the season?
Uh, I mean, all we can do is try and give it our best run at it. I think I have him by 8 points or so. And I think he moved up to second points now, so it's pretty tight. I feel like I am pretty good at some of the ovals coming up, so we'll see how it goes.
We certainly will here as Kentucky rolls up here. I must ask you now, Austin, who are we thanking here today?
Yeah, I want to thank Speed Zone for broadcasting tonight, ALC Contractors, Spot Auto, Heart to Heart, Allen Tillery, Buchanan Resort. Uh, Anybody does anything for this league, we appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, Austin, we appreciate you coming on by here today. Thanks so much for talking, and have a great rest of your evening here, finishing out hot here in the second place spot.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Austin Cornpost here. Going to take home a solid second place. Now joining us here, as I mentioned earlier, he's been kind of our sleeper hit today here. Started in third, finished in third, and quietly just keeping things under control. Scott Cazenave now with me here. And Scott, man, all around long night, I said you were kind of like my sleeper hit. You were kind of there, but no one really was talking about you. And admittedly, I wish I could have talked more about you there, but you stayed the lane. You kept it under control. I mean, how is it you were able to really just kind of keep everyone else at bay and just kind of focus only on your end there?
Well, when it started, I was pushing pretty hard, and Lane got out to about 5 seconds. Hats off to him, man. He figured it out. He spent about 8 hours, he said, practicing this stuff. But no, he got out about 5 seconds ahead, and I was like, man, I'm gonna back it down a little bit and just do my race. And I knew I was gonna pit on about lap 15 to 20, because I knew I could make it to the end and just try to be consistent. I had Dan in fourth, there at the end, but I was watching the relative. I was pretty consistent. It paid off, so I got the top three. I'll take it.
Pretty consistent. You said earlier just a second ago that you were running this thing down on the ground as hard as you could. Why is that, and why was it so hard to keep this thing really under control, considering that you had a whole bunch of turns and a bunch of other drivers looking for your positions?
Well, it was hard to turn. You had to, like through the S's, you had to completely lift and let the car settle. And once it started to turn, then you could get back into it. It was real easy to lose. This thing is like driving a boat around a road course, man. I ain't gonna lie. It's tough.
It certainly was tough, but nevertheless, Scott, you end up taking this one into a podium position here. Not bad for a bronze medal here, my friend. Who we thanking here for taking that third spot today?
Want to thank Allen Tillery and all our sponsors and you guys for broadcasting it and race control. We really appreciate what y'all do, man. Y'all do an excellent job. Thank you.
I appreciate it as well here. Scott, congratulations. Taking on home for a solid third place tonight, buddy.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up one more time here for the 03, Scott Cazenave. Well, that will pretty much about do it, race fans. Once more, another show in the books, and it just keeps getting crazier and crazier how many times we do this here. But nevertheless, here, race fans, big thank you to everyone that tuned on in. It's absolutely wonderful to see you guys coming on the show, commenting away and enjoying everything. Until the green flag is flying high, take care of yourselves and be safe out there.